Alright, Nightmare Baller slash Comics 1. And I'm making a video that I thought I would not have to do because I've kind of said my piece with what happened before I had to do this. And, you know, I was hoping that it wouldn't come to this, but it has. If you don't know, about I think it's been like 2 months now. Um, might have been a little longer than that. I'm not sure, but Green Lantern the animated series and Young Justice both were canceled, and I was like, okay, I love both shows. I think both of them are phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Like Young Justice is on par to me with Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and y'all know how much I love that show. And Green Lantern ain't too far behind. Like y'all know I'm a huge Hal Jordan fan, huge Green Lantern fan. I love that the mythos behind Green Lantern and all that. And it was cool, that we got both of those shows. Now I was, when I heard it was canceled, I didn't get that upset because that's just how the game is now. Shows get canceled all the time. My thing is that if they would have animated shows especially, like if they would have finished the story, then fine. I don't know which one is worse. We got none of that. Okay, now this is not a fault of the writers because they didn't know they were getting canceled. Cartoon Network, however, I'm pretty sure knew that these episodes were the way they were. And the big thing I'm hearing is that, merchandise, toy merchandise is not done like it how they thought it would. And to me, that's a load of bullshit because I don't have the numbers in front of me, but common sense would tell me that we're in the digital age now. You got like preschoolers playing on iPads now. Something tells me, and somebody confirm this for me. I don't know, but I have seen some of Young Justice toy line. It's not the best in the world. Green Lanterns is all right. I've seen a little bit of it, but Young Justice is not very good at all. But with that being said, still, like, I'm pretty sure that toys in general are not doing all that well, from what I gather. And for them to just say, hey, this is why this show is gone, is ridiculous. Because word of mouth on both of these shows are incredible. DC Nation is phenomenal. Blah de blah, so on and so forth. You look all around the internet, DC Nation is phenomenal. I'm gonna miss these shows. They shouldn't be canceling them. And I was fine, up to the cancellation point, all that stuff. I was like, cool. Because Transformers Prime is getting canceled. I'm not mad at all. I got 2 great seasons, and, well, I don't know if it's being canceled. I think it's just ending. But, we got 2, I don't know, I can't remember. But we got 2 great seasons, and this last season, we should wrap things up phenomenally. Hope the good guys finally win, because in the past 2 season finales, the first season finale, the Autobots, they got dealt a mighty blow, and in the second season finale, they got completely destroyed. So I just hope finally the good guys win. That's my biggest thing with that. But I'll talk about that when it gets here, because I'm so excited for Friday. I'm going to talk about Green Lantern first, because I think this stung me a little bit harder than Young Justice did. Although I will admit, Young Justice's cliffhanger is enough to piss off anyone. But I think this stung me a little bit more. Alright, this is going to be spoilers galore in this video. Like, just cut it off if you don't want spoilers. But, okay, I won't talk about the first half of the season, because both the season has been split into like 2 halves. And one half of the season was one thing, the other half of the season was a totally different storyline. The first half of the season was the Red Lanterns and the war between the Green Lanterns and the Red Lanterns. It's amazing stuff. The second half of the season is the Anti-Monitor. He's going around devouring worlds, kind of like Galactus style, and the Manhunters have been reactivated, and they're like all around the universe. This is even better. This stuff has been even better than the first half of season 1. But long story short, here's just a quick synopsis of it. I will do formal reviews of these shows soon. I don't know when, but soon. And synopsis of what's happening: the Anti-Monitor, as I told y'all, was going around devouring worlds. The Manhunters were everywhere. Blah blah blah. Now Aya, well, the main characters of this show are Hal Jordan, Kilowog, a Red Lantern named Razor, who's not in the comic books, who's exclusive to this show, and I hope that the boys at DC introduce him soon, because he is he's my favorite character on the show. He's a phenomenal character with a lot of depth. And Aya, who's the AI unit for the ship they use, which is called the Interceptor. And they've been the ones, pretty much fighting the Anti-Monitor. Now, some things happen that I won't go too in depth about, but Razor, there was a point in time where Razor was head on with the Anti-Monitor, and he was almost he was almost killed. Aya, the AI of the ship. Now the entire, hold on, let me set the stage. The entire season, from the beginning, from the first half with the Red Lantern invasion, all the way to this point, Aya and Razor have kind of became closer. They've gotten closer and closer to the point where it was almost a romance. And this is the point that kind of like shoved it into the romance area, where if I seem a little distracted, y'all, I'm watching basketball. March Madness is on the horizon. I'm trying to record this quickly before Selection Sunday is on and all that. So right now, Wisconsin and Ohio State are going to war right now. So if I seem a little distracted, I'm sorry. But anyway, Razor and Razor, Hal Jordan, and Kilowog were fighting the Anti-Monitor. Razor was in danger, and Aya jumped in the way of the blast that the Anti-Monitor tried to shoot him with, and as she was dying, Razor said he loved her, because they've been building to that all season, and then she appeared to go offline, but then I think it was it the next episode or 2 episodes? I think it was 2 episodes after, Aya used the parts of manhunters, like dead manhunters, to put her AI inside of them, inside of like the pieces of the dead manhunters, and she saved herself from death. And Razor, while happy to see her, realized that he did just tell this woman he loved her. Now Razor has like a horrible past where everyone he cares about, bad stuff happens to him. Like his ex-girlfriend, who Aya modeled her appearance to look like, she was killed. I won't ruin by who, because I want y'all to watch this. But she was killed, and his home planet was destroyed. And I tried not doing and I did. But she was like, Razor, you said something as I was dying. You said you loved me, and then he was like, well, that was just the moment. You're a machine. How could I love a machine? I'm fond of you. We're colleagues, but I can't love you. You're a machine. That's ridiculous. And it pretty much devastated Aya. Like, the Anti-Monitor, he's still alive, and he's still causing havoc, destroying the universe and stuff. And it just like ruined, it really was on her mind. It was messing with her, you know what I mean? And she, she was just upset. And Hal was like, you got to get your head in the game. We need you. And then I forget something happened. I forget what it was, but something happened, and she was like, I know what I have to do, because the Anti-Monitor, as I said, was killing everybody. So she absorbed she absorbed all of the energy from the power battery that was powering the ship, that was powering the Interceptor. She absorbed all of it, and she cut off, like, in order for her to be able to do that, she cut all emotion from her system, like from her AI systems, and as a battering ram, she just ran headfirst through the Anti-Monitor, shattering his chest, and and just pretty much mangling his entire body. And as a result of her not having any emotion, they were like, good job, Aya, you saved us all. And she was like, now she was like, well, now I'm devoid of emotion, and I understand these machines, and y'all just want to discard them like like fodder. And she was like, well, I don't think I want to do that. She was like, well, now I'm the leader of these machines. I'm their queen, and us and these machines will wipe out the universe. And I was like, dude, Aya was like the nicest robot ever. Now she has no emotions, so she was just, yeah, she was crazy. And Razor knew it was his fault because in order to, I guess, protect Aya from getting too close to him, he lied to her and said he didn't love her when he obviously did. If you watch the show, he obviously did. Now, Razor, if you don't know, like I said, he's a Red Lantern, and Red Lanterns and Green Lanterns, they don't get along because Red Lantern's emotion is anger and hate. Meanwhile, Green Lanterns are will. Well, Razor, the whole time he's trying to like kind of control his anger, trying not to be like a ticking time bomb and all this stuff, and he and by learning to do this, he learned from Saint Walker to pretty much kind of control his emotions and stuff like that. That comes into play. Now, if you don't know, Saint Walker is the founder of the Blue Lantern Corps. The Blue Lanterns are in the show. That all comes into play. Blue Lantern's emotion is hope. Like even in the bleakest of, you know, situations, they find something to be hopeful for. And okay, now Aya, as I told you, back to Aya. Aya, as I told you, is a killing machine. She's going around, you know, wiping out planets, absorbing stars, shit like that. Cause she's trying to find a way, and she ends up finding it to manipulate the universe to where she can go back to the dawn of the universe and get rid of all sentient life. It's stuff that leads up to that. Before that point, like there's other stuff she does until she realizes that's the only way to get rid of all human life is by doing that. You'll see, and because y'all need to watch this shit. But as she's doing, I'm all over the place. As she's doing that, she as I said, she's destroying stars. She's wiping out planets, shit like that. And then the Green Lanterns realize that she's so powerful, and Razor eventually realizes that that's not the woman that I love. That's not Aya. We're gonna have to put her down, because at first he was against it. Anytime it was even brought up, he just pretty much went off on whoever said it. But, now, and he finally realized. I forget what made him realize it. I think when they found out the Anti-Monitor was still alive. It's not a big of a spoiler. But they found out like his head survived, and like he merged himself with like this planet. And when she found him, because he had the device to help her go to the dawn of the universe and manipulate the universe and all that. I think it was when she killed the Anti-Monitor officially, like in front of them, that he realized like this is not Aya. This is I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to kill her. Well, okay. That happens, and when that happens, and god damn it, I'm sorry, y'all. The game's over now. The game's over, so we're good. Okay, now that happens, and you find out as she's trying to go to the point where she can reshape the universe. Razor, Hal Jordan, and Kilowog, they go and try and stop her. But before that, they meet up on Oa, like all the Guardians and all the Green Lanterns and Razor. They're all on Oa, and Hal, he's like looking through like this notebook with like all the shit that's happened. He was like, go to the page where the AI that I helped free and that I became friends with tried to destroy the universe and stuff, and it showed like all the places where she killed everything, where she destroyed planets and shit like that. And and Tomar Ray comes in the room, which is another Green Lantern, and he tells Hal, hey Hal, you shouldn't blame yourself for what happened. And, he was like, you had no knowledge that your friend would turn out to be this way. And Hal tells him, what does he tell him? He was like, well, had I never done any of this, we'd never be in this situation. And then they were looking at the map, and then he was like, hey, that's your system, right? And then he was like, yeah. He was like, so I'm pretty sure you want to get talking to Tomar Ray. Hal was talking to Tomar Ray. He was like, that's your system, right? And Tomar Ray was like, yeah. And then he was like, so I know you want revenge. And he was like, Well, yes, but fortunate for us, that was a desolate part of my sector. It was fine. Like, it was devoid of all life anyway. So then Hal was like, hmm. So then he was like, scan, like talking to the computer. He was he was like, scan all areas of the universe where where there are uninhabitable planets with no human life. So he brings that up. He was like, now bring up where Aya has destroyed everything, and then he merges the maps and he sees that really Aya hasn't killed anybody. So that's how he knew that it was still his friend in there somewhere. Which the only problem I had with this is that if she wasn't killing anyone, that lets you know she wasn't willing to kill. However, that's kind of like a story fuck up because she killed the Anti-Monitor. You know, like, she's not a killer, but she killed. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. But it makes no sense at all. But that's something minor. That's something I was just thinking. That's something minor. But so how he rushes to where Aya's at, and he's like, I know your secret. I know you really hadn't killed anybody. You're still our friend, and you need to stop this, Aya, because I know you're in there somewhere. You're not who you say you are. And Aya's like, regardless of what you think, without you, I wouldn't have survived, the Guardian's treatment of me. So you come, you'll be the last human left, so you can witness the end of the universe. You can witness what happens. Now, some words are exchanged between her and Hal. A giant plot device that I will not ruin because that shit is awesome. But even though I'm gonna ruin the series finale, there's something even more, probably even a little bit more awesome in it. But because it's something that led up to it that kind of threw Aya off a little bit. And Hal sends like a signal to Kilowog. He was like, I'm inside Aya. Firepower will not. I'm inside, the Anti-Monitor body. Aya. And he was like, no matter what, firepower won't work. Send in Razor, top priority. And then Kilowog relays the message to a Green Lantern that I will not ruin that appears on the show because I want y'all to watch it. And he tells him, okay, priority 1, we send Razor in to the Anti-Monitor body. And then Kilowog tells Razor before he goes in the body, he's like, are you ready to do this? And he was like, making myself a bullet can't be too hard because they made a construct that was a gun, and he made himself a giant red bullet, which was awesome. And then, Kilowog was like, nah, like, are you gonna be willing to, kill Aya? And then he was like, I'll do what it takes. So then, they shoot Razor inside of the Anti-Monitor body. It all works without a hitch. Now, when they're inside of the body, when he's inside the body, he sees Aya talking to Hal. And she got mad at Hal, and I forget, but no, she like smacked him, and like he went like flying across the sky or some shit like that. And then as Razor sneaking up behind him, he makes a construct that's a knife. So then he sneaks up behind her, and then as he's ready to stab her, the knife disappears. The construct just fades away, and then Aya like pushes him, and she sees what she did to Razor, and that lets her know, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? So, she didn't say what the hell am I doing because it's a kid's show, but and then Hal, what happened? Hal was like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and ruin it. They used part of Ion, which is the entity inside of the Green Lantern main battery, like a live being, like a live monster, that's inside of the main battery, to create Aya, like the Guardian that created Aya. With the Scar, and if y'all know who Scar is, yes, Scar does turn evil in this show. But she so Aya finds out that she's alive, and Hal tells her like, look at you, you're hesitant, you're all upset, your decisions are just as flawed as ours, because you are alive, Aya. And then he was like, no matter what you do, you'll still be alive, and is this what you want? And he just pretty much it's really like really emotional. And then she flies over, and she sees what she did to Razor, and like she's all upset because he's not breathing. And then she sees that the universe is about to be recreated, so she stops it. And then they get out, and then everything is like normal. So then she uses all the power that she absorbed from the Interceptor to heal Razor. And Razor, that's when he confessed, I love you too. I love you so much. I'm good because you're back with me and all this stuff. It's an amazing love story. I'm not even joking. Like the entire season is an incredible love story. Like I'm not kidding with you. Like when they finally embrace each other, it's like it's worth it. It's all worth it. And um Razor tells her, everything's fine now, and then Aya was like, and then Hal was like, well, Aya, since you're back to normal, shut down the Manhunters, and she was like, I've been trying to do that, but they're not responding to me anymore. But she was like, I have a failsafe, and then it was a computer virus that when she used it will wipe out all trace of the Aya program, and including her. Razor was all distraught. He was like, you cannot do this. Like, he was like, you just came back to me. We're good now. I won't let you kill yourself. And then it was too late. She had already did it. And then, Razor was all upset. And then, they cut to them back on Oa. And then Razor's like standing outside. And then Hal and Kilowog walk up to him. And Hal says to him, hey, man, they're trying to honor you. You should come in here and, kind of enjoy the fruits of your labor, man. You've been... we won, and then he tells them, he was like, I'm not in a celebrating mood, all this stuff. And Kilowog was like, look, man, I know you miss Aya, we all do, but we got to move on with our lives, man. She's gone. And then he was like, no, I refuse to believe that she's dead. And he was like, a being as resourceful as Aya, I just don't believe she's not living. So Hal was like, so he was like, I don't care if I got to comb the entire universe, I'll find her. And then Kilowog tells him, well, we're going with you. And then he was like, Kilowog, my friend. Which is the dope thing about this now is that when they first met each other, because Razor's a Red Lantern, Kilowog could not stand him. They hated each other. And as the show went along, and Hal was hesitant of Razor too, but Kilowog really couldn't stand him. And as the show went along, you saw their relationship grow, and you could see them becoming closer and closer friends. So like, just Razor, calling him his friend was like dope, man. This was an emotional finale. It was like Young Justice was more like, this is what everything is leading to. This was like so emotional. It was so well written, man. And he tells Kilowog, he's like, you only slow me down, my friend. And then Hal was like, well, we'll be here if you need us, and no matter what, just ring if you need us, and we'll be here to save you. Now, he was like, I know Hal Jordan, you already have saved me in more ways than you could ever know. He didn't say it like that, but that's essentially what he meant. And, and then he shook Hal's hand, and he went to shake Kilowog's hand, and Kilowog hugged him, which was even more like, I was like, dude, this is awesome. End it like that. End it like fine, end it like that. And then they show Razor fly away. And then, as he's flying into space, and he flies off into the horizon, like, riding off into the sunset, you see a Blue Lantern ring come into the screen and fly after him. Oh my god! Okay, let me explain, since I barely did. The emotions for the Blue Lanterns is hope. Razor, the entire show, like he was he was spiteful, full of rage, so he was a Red Lantern. Even though he was a good guy, he still was a Red Lantern because he was, he was still mad all the time. And finally, he just didn't have any more rage. That was the reason why he couldn't kill Aya, because the thing that powers the Red Lantern ring is hate. And he had no hate for Aya. He's not full of hate anymore. That showed Razor just entire emotional spectrum just changed. And then the Blue Lantern ring symbolized that he was going to find Aya, and now he has hope because everybody thinks Aya is dead except him. You know what I mean? He matter of fact, he knows. He convinced himself Aya's not dead. It's my baby. She's not dead. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I mean? It's just it stings because it's different between. I'll explain why Young Justice is different. And yes, this is a long video. Now I might just entitle this "Fuck Cartoon Network." Seriously, but this stung because this was emotional. You know what I mean? Because I watched these characters grow for an entire season. And then we finally seen, like, fans of the show have been wanting Razor to pretty much be normal. Like when him and Saint Walker were talking, we was like, either he's gonna be a Green Lantern or he's gonna be a Blue Lantern. And it finally happens, and it's gone. We won't even get to see if Aya's alive, if he, you know what I mean, if he embraces being a Blue Lantern. You know, we don't get to see, you know, the other Lantern they mentioned on this show that I won't ruin. We won't get to see the other Lantern if he's going to turn evil. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He was on this show. We won't get to see that. Nothing. All because Cartoon Network and the goddamn ego and the toy sales is why this show is gone. And I will say this. Green Lantern was doomed from the beginning because the movie failed. And that was Hal Jordan, mainly Green Lantern's one chance to cross over. And it didn't happen because it failed. So, you know, the show was already doomed when it started. I just wanted it to be good, and it was phenomenal. It'll be on Netflix soon, I saw, like in a couple months, and it was phenomenal, man. Like, look, when this entire season set comes out on DVD / Blu-ray / whatever you want, digital download, whatever, please buy this. Please, God, buy this to show Cartoon Network that they made a mistake, a huge mistake. This, like, the writing on this show was so adult and so, like, you know, I wouldn't say, I mean, that's not how you should judge a show, how adult the writing is. You know, characters died and stuff like that, but it wasn't like, you know, shoehorned in. It actually made sense. But man, this show, it's so emotional. Like, for real, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like when Aya sacrificed herself, I was in tears, dog. It was like tears rolling down my eyes, man, because it was sad. Because we saw Razor and Aya's relationship grow, and it just hurt. It hurt so much. It hurt like in the pits of my soul that the show is gone. And I want to see Razor as a Blue Lantern, but we won't get to see it because of Cartoon Network. Okay, that's Green Lantern animated series. Y'all watch that. Y'all just watch that. Now, Young Justice. Let's see if I can sum this up in one video. The plot of Young Justice Invasion, which is the second season, is it's 5 years after the first season. Let's see if I can kind of explain what's going on without talking about the first season at all. The Light have pretty much moved their plan along. If y'all know who the Light is, that's Lex Luthor, Vandal Savage. They're kind of like the Injustice gang. It's Lex Luthor, Vandal Savage, Vandal Savage is awesome on the show. Luthor is awesome too. Ra's al Ghul, who I thought was kind of underdeveloped. That was like one of my biggest problems with the show, because that's one of my favorite villains. And you know, he was kind of underdeveloped. But Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul, whatever you want to say. Black Manta. I can't remember everybody right now, but the Injustice gang, Queen Bee, and some other people. And as you find out, Aqualad has turned on the team. And, you know, 5 years later, Nightwing, or Robin is Nightwing now, and Tim Drake is on the show as Robin. Blue Beetle is on the team, who is a focal point of the show, and it's the best he's ever been written. You know, Wonder Girl, Batgirl, Connor, which is Superboy, and Miss Martian have broken up when the show starts. And Miss Martian dates a Lagoon Boy. You know, Beast Boy is on the show. A lot of new heroes are on the show. They even introduced Static in this show, and the finale is it's so satisfying when you see him finally become Static. It's kind of dope. But yeah, let me explain. Okay, the plot of this season is that the Light have this plan, because at the end of season 1 they framed the Justice League, because, well, they didn't frame them, but under mind control they had the Justice League attack these different planets and announce to the world, the universe, we are the Justice League of Earth, fear us, blah blah blah. So, you know, they were on trial. The entire season they're not on Earth, which actually is a very, very smart writing choice, because having Superman off Earth really works, because it sold a lot of the villains on here. Because, you know, if Superman was on Earth, a lot of the villains on here would just be like, you know, like, you know, short work. But okay, as they're off Earth, the Light gets their plan in motion. We find, like, the entire show, you find out the Light have this partner, this very powerful partner that's helping them do things. And then Aqualad, who we thought turned on the team, you find out that he's really just undercover trying to see who the Light's partner is. And then that's the Light finds out. The Light, Aqualad finds out about Black Manta being his father, all sorts of stuff. But he's undercover trying to find out who's the Light partner is. Well, turns out the Light's partner is this group called the Reach, and the Reach is this alien race that pretty much wants planet Earth for themselves. And you find out you find out that they had these things called scarabs. And Blue Beetle actually wears, Jaime, whatever you want to call him. He actually wears one of the scarabs. And, we find out that we thought it was developed by Ted Kord, the original Blue Beetle, but then we find out it's alien tech. And, but the thing is that the scarab that Jaime has pretty much talks to him, and he's like, I wish it wouldn't talk to me, blah, blah, blah. And then, he meets this other beetle named Green Beetle. And Green Beetle's a Martian, and Green Beetle tells him that he can stop your scarab from talking to you, to pretty much control. You'll be in total control, and this thing won't talk to you. And he agrees to do it. Green Beetle doesn't. Everything seems cool. Now I won't talk about Red Arrow and all that stuff, because at the end of the day, it was kind of it's important, but it's not important to the plot of the season finale. Okay, I'm just talking about mainly the season finale. All right. Well, we find out that and this is stuff leading you have to know this information to understand what happened in the season finale. But we find out that Green Beetle is being controlled by the Reach, and and then you find out that they now have control of Blue Beetle, because Green Beetle modified his scarab to make him do what the Reach wanted. So Blue Beetle, he set the team up. He does all this other stuff that he's not in control of. And then, they finally free him. I'm not going to ruin how. I'm just trying to skim through this because it's a lot. Young Justice is a very deep, very complex storyline, but complex in a good way. But, yeah, he, they free him from the Reach's control. Him and the Scarab kind of grow closer as the show goes along. It's actually pretty well done, pretty well written. And by the end of the show, okay, the episode before last, Aqualad finally reveals to his dad and the Light that him and Artemis at the time, who faked their own death, are undercover. But the thing is that they didn't reveal it. The dope thing is how it actually got revealed, and it was my boy Ra's al Ghul that did it. And it was awesome. It was awesome. I'm not gonna ruin that because that just needs to be seen. I'm marked out so hard for that. I popped for that so hard. That was great. But Aqualad reveals that hey, I'm still with the team. All this is on tape. Y'all going to jail. Blah blah blah. And then it was like, well, you ain't gonna make it out of here. And you find out that Miss Martian had been impersonating Deathstroke, and then Vandal Savage calls in like some ninjas. I'm assuming they're like the League of Shadows. And then Aqualad ain't worried at all. And then you find out it's like the rest of the team. Like it's like Impulse. And it's a good story behind Impulse. Impulse actually came to the past, because Bart Allen, Impulse is Bart Allen, if y'all didn't know. And Bart Allen's from the future. He came to the past because the Earth is destroyed. And the thing is that the Earth is actually destroyed by Blue Beetle. And he came to the past to either kill Blue Beetle or prevent that shit from happening. So, they ended up doing it by, repurposing the Scarab. And, and it's cool. But yeah, back to the episode before the season finale. Okay, now, all of them come in. It's like members of the team that's the ninjas. It's like Wonder Girl and Superboy and, all sorts. It's dope. And then so they beat up, they beat up the Reach, and they capture the Reach ambassador, who's been kind of like the liaison from the Reach to the planet Earth. And they even do this thing with Mongo coming to Earth with the War World, and he comes to try and like get rid of the Reach, because he's like, I'm actually trying to help y'all out by destroying y'all, because y'all would rather be dead than what they'd actually do to you. Now the Reach end up commandeering the War World after Mongo comes and all that stuff. That's important. I just forgot to mention. But anyway, I know it's all over the place, but kind of try and follow me. But yeah, but they capture the Reach ambassador, the chick that's with him, all of them, like, everybody gets captured except Vandal Savage, Ra's al Ghul, because it's kind of funny what happens to him, and who else is there? A few other people, but everybody else gets captured, and Aqualad is kind of torn because even though he was undercover, he you could tell he developed a fondness for his dad that he never knew, which his dad's Black Manta, and it's just kind of, I felt bad for him. It was kind of sad, because Black Manta was going to jail, and he didn't look too thrilled about it. He was like, that's still my dad. But after that, after you see Black Beetle get away, and then it even has like confessions from the Light setting up the Justice League, as I told you. They mind controlled the Justice League, and then the league, the team, the Young Justice team, got it all on tape, so they were going to use it in the Justice League's trial to clear their name. It's like the members of the league. It's like Batman, Superman, all the biggies. Except like Aquaman and and the Flash. Everybody else, all the biggies. Superman, Batman, John Stewart, Martian Manhunter. Yeah, you get the point. But yeah, they so they got this information now, clear their name. So Superboy and Miss Martian, they go off to clear the Justice League name, and then everybody else is celebrating because they figure they won. Now no, the chick gets away, and the Reach ambassador is the only one get caught. The chick gets away, and you see the chick, she talks to Black Beetle, and she's like, let's get off this world, let's just go on the run. And he was like, we won't have anywhere to run. He was like, we have to erase all evidence that we were ever on this world by destroying this world. So then the next episode, which is the finale, you see the beginning where the league gets prosecuted. Like, they get a guilty sentence. They were about to get executed and all that stuff because the Light had paid off the judges. So Superman and Miss Martian's evidence didn't mean much until they kind of persuaded them to drop the charges by it's funny too. It actually made me laugh. And then the league, they're released. They're on their way back to Earth. But then you find out back on Earth, you find out that Black Beetle had put all these different devices all across the planet. And the thing is that they're kind of like these machines that if one of them goes off, it goes what they say, chrysalis, and like it's like a giant whirlwind, and all of them consumed the planet and exploded if they all went off simultaneously. Well, the league, they sent teams of two. Well, the team sent teams of two to destroy each one, and they got all of them. It was 20 in all, or they thought, but they missed one. And by the time they got to the last one, it was already too late. It was like already starting to spin. And Lex Luthor tells them, there's a way to stop it. We need the speedsters, which was Kid Flat, Impulse, and Barry at the time, that were there to run the opposite direction of the whirlwind. Maybe that will stop it. The polarity or something like that. I'm not scientific shit that only Lex Luthor would know. And then they was like, but it might not be enough energy to do it. So so Wally, who was Kid Flash at the time, he goes and he helps. But the thing is, he's clearly slower than both of them. So he was the slowest. So as they were doing this, he was absorbing the kinetic energy. And by doing this, they ended up succeeding. But by doing this, it cost him his life. Like, he died. While he died, it was sad. Because Artemis was his girl and all that stuff, and it was just, it was sad. And then, so apparently they won. But as the league was coming home, as they were leaving the planet they were on, I forget the name of the planet, there was a message from Vandal Savage, and it was a warning to all alien species on the planet. Don't come to Earth. Earth is like my home planet. Any form of incursion or invasion will be seen as an act of war. And he was like, and Superman or Superman as Batman, he's like, you think any of these aliens really care about what Vandal Savage has to say? And you see Vandal Savage now has control of the War World, which is a giant like Death Star type ship. And then he was like, well, I bet they do now. So then after the battle's won and all that stuff, when the League finally gets back to Earth, Batman tells them that they can operate out of the Watchtower now because they deserved it. They earned it because they saved Earth while they weren't there. And Nightwing explains to Aqualad that he was like, I gotta leave, man. Like, just take some time off, man. Wally died. We started this team together. It's just not the same. I just need some time off. Aqualad, you're the leader again. This is your team. And he was like, you sure you want to do this? And he was like, yeah. So then after Batman tells them, and this is cool. This is cool writing. After Batman tells them, you can operate out of the Watchtower, and he was like, everything you see is yours to use. I'll leave y'all to it. And the League leaves, and like Aqualad's like sending people off on missions, and he and as he's doing that, Nightwing says, he looks and he smiles. He looks at the team, he smiles, and he's like, business as usual. Like, ain't nothing gonna change just because I'm gone. But Aqualad, if you listen close, if you listen to what he's saying, he tells each one, hey, y'all go do something. I forget Green Beetle's name, his Martian name. He needs some help on Mars. Y'all go into Mars. And what's the name? The country of Bialia is like they were like one of the main countries that were like in support of the Reach. Well, after the Reach was proven to be evil, the dude that was like the prime minister resigned, and the next person running was Lex Luthor. And it's funny because Lex Luthor was the one that helped them save the planet, so he pretty much did that to get in to the world's good graces. You know what I mean? So it's the light still at work. You know what I mean? It's still behind the scenes plotting to do shit, and that lets you know it's still stories going on here. You know what I mean? And this all happening during the last episode. And, Superman was like pissed about it, all this stuff. But Aqualad tells some members of the team, and then he was like, because the Reach had the soft drink, and apparently the soft drink was helping them, control people's minds. And then Aqualad tells, I forget who it is, he's like, I need y'all to investigate, because rumor has it that LexCorp is like developing the Reach's soft drink under a new name. and then he was like, the rest of you are with me, and we're gonna follow up a lead that Black Canary got about the whereabouts of Vandal Savage. And then as he says that, the scene changes, and you see the War World fly to a planet, and in the right hand corner of the screen, see, here's the thing, whenever they go to a new location or a different location in the show, I like that they do this. The show will tell you where they are at like the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Like when they were at Mount Justice, it was like Mount Justice. You know what I mean? Or when they were at that was like the team's like lair. When they were in Gotham, it would say Gotham. When they were in Bloodhaven, it would say Bloodhaven. When they were in Metropolis, you get what I'm saying? So when Vandal Savage flies to this planet, in the right hand corner of the screen, it says Apocalypse. Now, if you don't know, Apocalypse is the home planet of Darkseid. Do you see where I'm going here? Then the next scene is Vandal Savage walking into a room. You see Desaad, and you see Desaad, and who else was it? I can't remember. I don't think it was Caliban. I forget who it was. I don't think it was Granny either. I know definitely Desaad. Yeah, it was Desaad and someone else. It doesn't matter. And then you see him smile, and then you see a shadowy figure, hands behind his back and all, and he turns around in his Darkseid, and Vandal Savage shakes his hand and says, "Business as usual." Credits roll. You cannot end a show like that. That is like, just like I said in my Tron Uprising review. That is like, now we know this is canceled, so I can get pissed. I was just kind of upset in that video, but I'm pissed now. You cannot end a show like that. That's like Dragon Ball Z ending the series with Goku finally meeting Frieza. because Darkseid is the Frieza of the DC universe. You can't do it. You cannot do it. I'm sorry. Like you can't leave us hanging like that. Is Nightwing gonna come back to the team? You know, it was Miss Martian and Miss Martian and Superboy gonna get back together. There was so many loose threads in that, and I would have been fine with all of that had they just left out the Darkseid scene. Had they just left that out, I would have been fine with that, because the even more significant thing about that is that it always seemed like, and this is like one of the like this is a lot of people's complaint about Young Justice, when everything seems like it went wrong, somehow the light, you know, they like at the end of the episode you see, oh, it's fine, it's still all going according to plan, because it seemed like they had an unfair advantage. One of their real partner was Darkseid, and we find that out. We find out at the end of the series. It all makes sense now. They had the upper hand because they had somebody like Darkseid on their side helping them. Dog, I was so mad. I was steaming. Like, I was so mad. Like, they can't. This is gone. This show is gone. They ended the show on that note. Like, words cannot describe how mad that made me. But you know what? I have talked enough. As y'all can see, it's bullshit they canceled Green Lantern because there was so much emotion. So many things they could have did to build upon Razor and Aya's love story, because it is an amazing love story. And Young Justice had way too many plot lines still going, and the fans this. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of when they canceled Symbiotic Titan. Like, cause if y'all don't know, y'all remember Symbiotic Titan was the show developed by Genndy Tartakovsky. His first show, his first full-length series since Samurai Jack, and they didn't finish Samurai Jack either. It didn't finish Samurai Jack either. So, you know, it was it stung when they canceled that too. So, you know, and after that it was just annoying because he got a series that was almost not as good as Samurai Jack, but it was I would say like a step below Samurai Jack, because it was more like a serial type drama, you know, where everything kind of led into another. And at first they couldn't do that. You know, like Samurai Jack, I don't think they could do that. Something like that. Something I read somewhere. But yeah, and it was just like as infuriating as that, because on that show, you know, you had a villain who you didn't know why he turned villain, and you could tell they were leading into explaining why he turned villain, and you had, like, you know, just all sorts of stuff. You didn't know what happened to certain characters because they didn't get a chance to tell us, because it was going after 20 episodes. It's not right. Cartoon Network, it's not right. And they got rid of Symbiotic Titan. Would you like to know why? Toys. Symbiotic didn't have no toys. I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm finished. I'm done. That's it. That's it. I don't know my next video. Not sure. But I'm gone. Like, I ain't got nothing else to say. So this is Nightmare Baller 1 / Comics 1, whatever you want to call me. It's probably gonna go on my Nightmare Comics channel, because it makes more sense to go on there. I don't know what I'm gonna title this video, because it's like 47 minutes long. But yeah, I can't believe I talked this long, because I was that mad, dog. It's like, it's pointless. This is just pointless. This is point. And you know, I didn't even talk about this. Before I get out of here. The two shows replacing Green Lantern and Young Justice are Teen Titans Go, which is a relaunch of the old series from 2005, I think. No, was it no, Teen Titans came out 2002, I think. It's 2002, and I'm reasonably sure about that. Well, whenever y'all remember Teen Titans, and as a big fan of that show, because I was a big fan of that show, I can tell you, like right now, that I don't care about it at all. I don't give a damn about that new show. I could care less, because it's now a sitcom. It's not an action show anymore. You know what I mean? It's not even the old show. And the old show, I thought, even though it didn't have a real ending, the movie was kind of enough. You know what I mean? The Trouble in Tokyo that I finally seen was kind of enough. You know what I mean? We just didn't need it no more. The shorts were cool, and that's what you should have stayed at, shorts. That's fine, you know? And then the other show is Beware of the Batman. Now, regardless of how I feel about it, because I hadn't seen enough to just call it garbage. You know, I seen like the little short trailer, some pictures. You know, I found out that the Joker won't be the main villain. You know, fine, whatever. You know, whatever. I ain't that mad. You know, but from what I seen of it, you know, I can't really comment. But it's another Batman show, dog. We how many do we need 50 million more? Like Green Lantern, Green Lantern was the first ever animated series based on Green Lantern. Young Justice was only like the second one based on sidekicks. So I mean, like no more no more innovation. You know what I mean? No more nothing. You know. I'm just saying. I'm gone. I'm gone. Cartoon Network, dog. I'm so close to boycotting it. The only reason I don't is because Adult Swim is hilarious most times. You know, minus Family Guy, because they be showing like the newer ones, and the new Family Guy suck. You know, I like American Dad. Fuck y'all, I do. But you know, King of the Hill, I love that show. And you know, Squidbillies, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, all that shit I love. Black Dynamite, Lord of Squad, Robot Chicken is my joint. All that I love. But I'm out of here, y'all. Nightmare Baller / Comics One. You know, I'm not even gonna say save the shows because it's Cartoon Network. It ain't happening. Like they're gone. They're just gone, y'all. But you know, by the way of Wolverine, the X-Men, Spectacular Spider-Man, Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, two more great cartoons, two more great superhero cartoons are just gone. Peace.